Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Crown and today we are going to have some more stories that I hope that you will enjoy. But before we start, it will be so much appreciated if you would subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, and maybe leave a comment down below. These simple clicks would mean a lot to the future of this channel and really reward the effort that I put in every day. And now, without further ado, let's go! I know it may seem weird and childish for someone who's 16 years old, but that's just the way I ended up, I guess. I've recently discovered a series called Wings of Fire, and it feels like it was made for me. I'll explain the plot and stuff, but I don't want this post to get too long. Now my aunt, oh boy. Here in the UK, Karens are a rarity compared to what seems to go down in the US, but this lady ticks all the checks. Overly controlling. Thinks the world revolves around her. Believes in stupid stuff she read on totally trustworthy websites. Owns annoying pets and refuses to teach them to behave. She even has a stereotypical haircut. And she almost killed me once. But that's another story for another day. Also, my parents do not like this woman as well for all the reasons I do. But don't want to cut her completely out of their life since they'd feel bad. And they feel she's bearable. Plus her two offspring are surprisingly sane and nice people. Anyway, on to what happened. My aunt decided a few days ago she'd come round our house to just say hello and do the normal middle-aged mom thing of having a chat while their kids just wander around waiting to leave. We were told she was coming in advance, and of course my parents, not wanting to come across as rude, they let her. It had been a while since I had last seen her for obvious reasons, and hadn't started my dumb obsession with Wings of Fire back when I had last seen her. Anyway, so the entitled aunt comes in, says her usual greetings to my stepmom and dad, and then comes and greets me in my room, playing games and just trying not to say the wrong thing. Trust me, the slightest thing can set off this woman. I have the Wings of Fire book that I'm currently reading through, Moon Rising on my table next to my games, and it's literally one of the first things she sees. Obviously, a book about dragons would have a dragon on the cover, so she instantly puts two and two together and figures out the book is about those funny-looking winged lizards. Instantly, she starts off saying stuff like, "You shouldn't be reading those evil books," and "Dragons are an embodiment of Satan. I will not have my cousin raised on satanic books." Wanting to stop her tirade, my stepmom and dad pulled her out of my room, apologizing profusely for shutting the door. Thankfully, she's not dumb enough to try and come back in, though I can still hear her vaguely speaking in that hush, shocked tone of voice judgmental people do when telling people how to raise their kids. Though I cannot make out what she's saying, I end up laughing hysterically over her mini rant over how apparently a book series meant for 10-year-olds is demonic, and I go back to playing my game. Later on, after she leaves, she didn't even bother saying goodbye to me. My dad and stepmom sat me down and have a chat about what she said to them. Apparently she thought I was being brainwashed by the devil and being made to go down an evil path. She literally straight up said the author of the Wings of Fire books worships the devil and drinks baby blood. You can't make this up. Honestly, stepmom and dad reassured me I'm not in any trouble and just wanted to share what unhinged nonsense she had to share because they'd know I'd get a good laugh out of it. And damn, I did. Update. Since the events of last story, my parents and I have basically gone no contact with the entitled aunt, which is a lot harder than it sounds due to her offspring being genuinely nice people and not nutbags like her, and we don't want to cut them out too. Anyway, on to the story. I am currently going to a type of school that isn't really a school per se. More of a know how to act in a workplace and get insight on a job you want type place. Quite a laid-back place, and we do a lot of fun stuff there. Normally, I would have picked up these skills earlier, but due to my autism, Asperger's and major health problems that kept me off school for a couple years, I am fine now. I never really got to pick those up. Basically everyone in my family knows where I go. Even my entitled aunt's side somehow, despite us never telling them. Most likely through relatives telling other relatives, I don't know. Anyway, this was the problem, knowing where I went. We finish our work early today, so we get 10 minutes to do whatever as long as it isn't disruptive or overly loud. School ends at 3 p.m. and it's 2:50 p.m. now. A lot of people just go outside to smoke and wait for the day to be over, but me, being the nerd I am, decide to have a quick read through the next chapter of my Wings of Fire book. Moonwatcher has visions again. Ghibli a witty giga chat. A winter is just as insufferable as ever. I finish up my chapter just as it turns 3 p.m. and I go outside, still holding my book by my arm. Stepmom is waiting for me outside. Yes, I still get picked up from school at 16. I live a solid few miles from my school, do not judge. She asks me how my day was, the usual stuff. We're about to get into the car when I hear a voice that just about makes me roll my eyes. The entitled aunt's voice. Stop! I turn around to see her walking towards me like she just came out of a JoJo episode. I told you not to read those books. They are making you evil. Excuse me, but how in the world did you get here in the first place? I've been waiting for you for ages to come out with those nasty books of yours, so I can finally take them off you. I don't want your mind getting any more corrupted by Satanism than it already is. At this point, I just started hysterically laughing, because it's been implied she's been waiting outside for days now, just to take my books. My stepmom loses it at her and tries to get her away from me, but the entitled aunt somehow manages to snatch my book off me while my guard is down. Me and stepmom immediately go to try and take it back, but before we can, she slams the book on the dirty pavement. Keep in mind it had been raining. Picks it up again and starts ripping it into pieces. I pretend to be hysterical and crying because, oh no, she's ruined my book. If only I had a spare copy so I could continue. Oh wait, I totally have a spare copy. Yep. By some miracle, Moon Rising is a One Wings of Fire book. I have a duplicate of it due to a miscommunication with my uncle, who's really nice but, and I mean this in the kindest way possible, a little thick. I don't tell her this and my stepmom knows about my duplicate as well. My stepmom just glares at the entitled aunt holding the soggy tattered book. You know, I could call the police on you right now for damaging personal property. The entitled aunt just now realizing the gravity of the situation, and for some reason now holding the totally not tap water, throws the book on the ground, eats the water at me and legs it. We did try reporting this to the police, but they said there wasn't enough evidence sadly, and due to the area being quiet, no one managed to get it on film. Who knows if my tattered copy of Moon Rising still lays on that pavement right now. I guess we will find out tomorrow. I am just done with this lady. She gets more and more cuckoo by the day. I wouldn't be surprised if she ended up in a mental asylum by the end of the year at the rate she's going. Update. So I woke up today to the news that Karen herself had been investigated by the police anyway, despite them saying there wasn't evidence, and apparently when the police arrived, she legged it. Police being police caught her and she's currently under investigation for a whole myriad of charges. Hope that witch ends up serving some jail time. I was at Wegmans at chain grocery store in the Northeast USA this past Saturday, and got hit for the first time in that place with the "don't you work here" curse that afflicts so many of us. Wegmans uniform black or bright color shirt with Wegmans logo, Wegmans name tag, and black, gray or khaki pants. What I was wearing was a very light blue shirt, blue jeans, my sunglasses tucked into the collar of my shirt, and a blue face mask with Mickey Mouse all over it. In other words, clothing that looks nothing like a Wegmans uniform to anyone unless their eyes are for decoration only. I'm taking yogurts off a shelf and putting them into my cart, clearly shopping. Lady comes up and asks a question. I gesture at my clothing. When she doesn't get it, I calmly ask, "Am I wearing anything that says Wegmans on it?" And the lady replies, "Well, I saw you stocking shelves." I replied, "I was taking things off a shelf and putting them into my shopping cart. Take a look at me. It's pretty obvious that I don't work at Wegmans." Lady said, "But I just wanted to ask you a question." I said, "Lady, I don't work here. Go look for someone with a Wegmans shirt and name tag. The person will be someone who works here." And I walked away with my cart before she could reply. Do some customers just not want to admit they are wrong, no matter how much stupider it makes them look? That's the only reason I can come up with. The me clearly wearing nothing resembling employee uniforms thing has happened so often to me that it's frightening. Some friends have told me it's because I have resting nice face. I personally don't see that in mirrors. And this time, that excuse wouldn't wash because I was wearing a face mask covering my nose down to my chin. I swear the employee uniform could be nothing but blue clothing all the way to the shoes. And if I came in wearing a hot pink spandex jumpsuit, big fake basketballs and an afro wig, people would still shove past actual employees to ask if I work there. My dad thinks it's not a curse. I said to him, "It's never helped my finances, my career, or my love life. And it annoys me, Dad. Therefore, it is a curse." Not long ago, I was working at a marina and it was a great job. I drove around a beautiful beach with my pooch on a golf cart keeping an eye on things. When a shutdown happened, we stayed open, and as one of the only outdoor places to be, were packed. The vibe changed and trash was much more common. People empty their trash from cars in a lot before leaving, and get mad that I refused to open the gate until they took care of it. I had a lady call the cops and report me for kidnapping. The cop that showed up yelled at her. Back then, I thought it was directed at me. I was at the beach one beautiful afternoon and noticed a family walking away from their picnic table. I realized they are going to the parking lot to leave but had trashed their area. I'm talking pooped in diapers on the table. And they couldn't even be bothered to roll up. I was triggered to the max and thinking how to approach the situation. And that's when amongst the table of trash, I see an important looking large set of keys. It was time to take a break. I was happily strolling to the beach shore, my favorite place to collect my thoughts. Random thoughts like how good my arm is after all these years. Good enough, I'm sure. I then went to finish cleaning the most trashed area I had seen. As expected, some guy looking guilty and panicked walked up to me. "Have you seen any keys around here by chance?" I looked at him and told him I don't think so. "But feel free to check the bin," as I added a diaper to the top poo side down. He quickly came to terms that he wasn't getting them back. But he watched me continue to clean his mess to be sure. I would look at him smiling as we both knew I was in too good a mood for the task at hand. He couldn't even be mad knowing he'd have them had they cleaned up after themselves. Probably knew he would have done the same. I wanted him to accuse me so I could troll him more, but he was smart enough. They were in a parking lot for hours waiting around, and I enjoyed every time I checked to see that they hadn't left yet. And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.